Hello and welcome. My name is Guthrie. I'm a director of the public sector practice in Albany and Beck. I'm joined here today by Tom, who's a partner of Affinity Works. Tom, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Thanks for being with us today.
No problem.
Obviously, we're just going to have a discussion around data sharing, primarily within sort of local authorities, and a few other bits about how we can utilise that data effectively. But before we do so, do you want to give us a bit more background about what you do, who you are, who Affinity Works are?
Yeah, we're a small micro SME providing services to public sector, health and social care. We do boutique outsourcing, covers things like data analytics and also support for software services, things like that.
One of my first questions to you would be around sort of unlocking the huge potential that we have with the data that's currently being used by local authorities, and just kind of get your thoughts around the benefits of doing so, and obviously how we can actually unlock those benefits.
Yeah, I think this is a really big thing for us because I think local authorities, they're incredibly data rich. They have to record reams and reams of information for to look after their residents appropriately, to fill in their statutory returns and things like that. And they often see that as a bureaucratic sort of hindrance on what they do. But actually we see that as a huge advantage because that means they're all sitting on piles and piles of data which can be really, really useful if put in the right circumstances.
And how would they identify, obviously, the value of that data that they're storing? Because typically it is just for stat reporting, etc. But and actually making use of what already is, being stored from those authorities.
Yeah, I think it's a common problem that that data asset, is commonly very undervalued.
Yeah.
Some data that doesn't look particularly interesting to the untrained eye, there's not necessarily an awareness of that value. When we go to new sites, because we haven't worked with them before and we don't have any of their own data, we often show them a presentation about their local authority from open source data, and they're all familiar with the data source, but often in the room they're just like, wow, how do you know all this information? Yeah. And we've just pulled it out of a resource that they know exists.
Yeah.
And that's kind of opens doors for us because we kind of say to them, if we can show you this value from data you're already aware of, it's out in the public domain, imagine what we can do if your data that your private data that is locked down tightly.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be sort of a big data complex, but more so, using the small manipulative data that we have available already.
Yeah, I think there's this common misconception that, in order to drive value out of it, has to be huge amounts of unstructured data or, processed by artificial intelligence. It really doesn't need to be like that. We've got some great results from small numbers of local authorities sharing, a spreadsheet's worth of data, but organised appropriately, categorised appropriately, returns really high value. It's a bit of an in-joke with us, but we often talk about medium-sized data because it's not tiny and it's not huge, but just a reasonable amount of data done in the right way can produce very good results.